You fast forward to where I'm at today, like trying to help young people get a grasp around what their future could look like through a life in the trades.
I'm loving the sash. That's dedication right there, dude. That's strong as fuck.
I'm gifted. Electricians are going to be in crazy demand with all the data centers that are being built. I know that's fairly regional, but I think that's a massive opportunity. I'm looking at technicians just across the board, whether it's auto, aerospace, heavy equipment, Gen Xers, everybody's been told go to college or go into the armed forces. At the same time, that $250,000 college dream, that could be, it's not for everybody.
Think about it and just stick with it. Never give up. You can't give up.
I can get lost in looking at Excel spreadsheets.
Even if you're laying pipe, change of clothes is definitely one of the things.
I know people find that weird.
But there's always a massive fucking dildo in every fucked up house. Always.
This dude would be a great fucking worker, dude.
Are you doing this for money or are you doing this for your schedule?
There you go. Boom.
That's not a bad idea, man. That's not a bad idea.
Also know that this is what I want to do forever.
I might as well just jump off the roof of the we're just going to get right into it. What is up, everybody? It is Thiago. Welcome to the Build Device Podcast, building the next generation of trades. On this week's episode, we have JJ Owens. JJ, welcome to the pod, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you guys having me.
This was honestly a shot in the dark. We got an email one day from Rosalina, I think your assistant, and she was like, you need to have JJ Owens on. Why don't you have JJ Owens on? And I'm like... And respectfully, I don't mean this the wrong way. I'm like, who the fuck is JJ Owens? So
probably
I'm like, you were never on my radar. I'm like, all right, let me look at this guy. I looked at your LinkedIn. I'm like, this guy's fucking legit, dude. So, JJ, we'll start breaking the ice a little bit. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Your background, everything like that, and we'll get right into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll give you where I've been and where I'm at. So coming to you live from Orange, California, which is in the heart of Orange County. About 10 minutes from Angel Stadium or the Honda Center if we're looking at sports landmarks. Otherwise, 5 minutes from Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
Born and raised here. Played baseball my whole life. Had a chance to play collegiate at Cal Poly and then at USC for my last 2 years. Mm-hmm. Had a one summer of the super awesome 14-hour bus rides in independent ball. So are you guys familiar with independent versus affiliated ball?
Yeah, I am. It's kind of like soccer has the same type of thing too. So
yeah, so I mean independent ball. I got a check to play. It was not exactly a big check by any stretch of the imagination, but nor was it affiliated with the Cubbies or the Angels or anybody, right? But I got a chance to go play, and then went to grad school at University of Oregon while I was trying to figure out, they say that an athlete dies 2 deaths, the day they retire and then the day they actually die.
Yeah.
I had no freaking idea what I wanted to do with my life. And so got lucky, got into the MBA program at University of Oregon, was really focused on sports business, and actually had a chance to coach as a grad assistant for Ducks baseball, which was pretty cool. And the whole time I was messing around with a mustache, wanting to get involved in student life. That was one of the things that I missed when I was an undergrad is you're so dialed in on, sports and you don't have any time to do anything else. I wanted to get involved on campus life and wanted to get involved in philanthropy and started growing a mustache for Movember in 2009. Ran some big campus campaigns because that was the early days. Movember was still getting started in the U.S. before it started in 2003 in Australia. And so I had a chance to come on board and be the head of development, community and fundraising development, and build the department there for 7 years. And that was just so much fun. The moral of the story, if you mess around with a mustache, it might actually turn into a career. It's honestly it's such a unicorn of an experience. I got to build massive programs with the NHL. At one point we had 50% of active rosters rocking mustaches for Men's Health, which is rad. You fast forward to where I'm at today, heading up the Skilled Careers Coalition, still very much working in philanthropy, trying to help young people get a grasp around what their future could look like through a life in the trades and building, creating, helping them understand that skill they got, it's absolutely something that could be a launch pad to a high pay, high purpose career. So
100%.
yeah, man, it's been a happy accident, this life of philanthropy, but it all started me with messing around with a mustache, dude.
Running a field service business isn't easy. Between managing your team, your customers, and your bottom line, there's a lot to keep up with. But what if there was a way to make it easier? That's where field service management software comes in. FieldPulse is the field service management platform built for pros like you. Whether you're a small business looking to grow for a larger company ready to scale, FieldPulse has everything you need all in one place, with advanced features for scheduling and dispatching, customer management, estimates and invoices, work order management, maintenance plans, and price booking. What really sets FieldPulse apart is how flexible the platform is. You can build workflows that actually fit on how your team operates, keeping every step organized from the first call to the final invoice. By connecting your field and office teams, FieldPulse keeps everybody in sync, save hours, and gives your business the tools to increase productivity and profitability. And it's not just us saying this. FieldPulse holds a 4.8 star rating across nearly 600 reviews. Thousands of pros are already seeing results, with users reporting an average 78% revenue increase year over year. To see what FieldPulse can do for you, head on over to fieldpulse.com. That's field, P-U-L-S-E, pulse.com.
I'm loving the sash. The sash game is like, that's dedication right there, dude. That's strong as fuck.
I'm gifted. Yeah. Like I can go wax to handlebar pretty quickly too. So, but yeah, like, I mean, it's Movember right now. Like, I encourage you guys to, take off the kickstands, guys.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. Maybe Alex might. I can't. I have like chipmunk cheeks, dude. My shit would be looking weird, dude.
You don't want to see this jaw without a beard.
Some people can rock it. Some people just need the full beard just to like cover everything. So plus,
it's so funny how insecure guys get. They're like, no, this is the moneymaker. I can't mess with the moneymaker.
No, like, my wife. Yeah. I shaved my beard once. It was during COVID, and I was bored, and I'm like, it was just about the size of Alex's beard, maybe a little bit longer. And I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna shave it all off. Like, fuck it. I didn't even play around with the ideas of like mutton chops, goatee, everything, the whole entire. I just shaved it all off randomly one day, and I was like, I looked in the bathroom mirror. I'm like, I made the most terrible mistake of my life right now because I looked like a fucking idiot, dude. I looked so stupid, and I'm like, I'm never doing that. And to that day, it's been 5 years going on 6. I haven't like fully shaved my beard. It's just trimmed, and that's it.
Dude, when you shave your mustache, like, or any part, like, all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, I have so much real estate. Like,
yeah.
What's supposed to do with all this? Like,
when I was younger, my dad shaved his mustache for the first and for the final and last time. And I growing up, I obviously you're used to your dad like having the mustache and everything like that. One day he shaved it off, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And it's like, I'm like, I had no idea like my dad looked like it's hard to like picture somebody without a mustache when they had a mustache for so long, you know what I mean? So
right. Alex, did you mess with your beard at all in COVID? Like, did you have a funky style? No.
Honestly, man, I just grew the shit out of it. It was like down to like my chest. Yeah. I just kept on going. Honestly.
Oh man.
I've shaved my beard like once or twice, and I don't like what's going on underneath it, so it just covered up with all this hair.
My COVID facial hair phase was absolutely growing the Jeff Bagwell, like the full
man,
like the goatee, just to be like just maybe I'll be on the forward edge of this fashion curve, and like the late 90s or early 90s is gonna be coming back around. It was a lot. And then I did roam around the house for about a day or two rocking the Buhner, the Jay Buhner, where it's literally just the chin.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I didn't shave my dome. I'm not that crazy, but like, you remember him for the Mariners? My God, he looked like every Bond assassin, and just a massive chin piece.
Oh man. Oh, quick question. I'm a big college football guy. So obviously, USC or Oregon, which school was better?
Oh man. So I mean, like, it's this weekend. I'm a Trojan first and foremost.
Okay, all right, so there we go. Trojan, we answered the question there.
Trojan through and through. My 2 years at Oregon though was I was not conflicted at all. That was during like 2009 to 11. SC had their bowl ban.
Yep.
So it was like, and that was like the Chip Kelly days and LaMichael, like all those guys. Oh man, it was such a cool time to be at
Because you went
Oregon.
to two of the top like athletic schools
Yeah.
in the country too.
I mean,
so that's even.
if you're getting into it, I think the question, I think the soundbite you want is, yes, I bring Rose Bowls wherever I go.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was looking for.
I can take full credit for that.
Yeah.
No, man, it's going to be a tough one this weekend. I don't know. Like,
It's going to be a great game, though. It'll be a great game.
Playing at Autzon's just, I mean, it's, if you guys ever have a chance to go to Autzon, or if you've been, let me know. But like, I mean, it is loud and crazy. Like, it's fun. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I can't wait for that game. I don't watch a lot of college ball games. I like if I'm flicking through the channels, I'll watch it. But I saw that, and then immediately you were like, "Oh yeah, I went to USC in Oregon." I'm like, "Hold on, wait a minute."
It's topical. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. Obviously, you've worked with the coalition, everything like that. You spent 15 years building partnerships and impacting projects. If you had to explain your work to like, you know, a regular trade guy like myself, like a plumber or a carpenter, on like a regular job site, like how would you kind of describe it? You know what I mean?
With what we're doing with the coalition?
Or just like, well, again, you spent like 15 plus years like building partnerships and all that with the coalition and other things as well. How would you explain your work to a regular tradesman? You know what I mean?
I mean, I'd start with the least sexy terms and the most confusing terms, which is like, it's really about field building and systems change, right? Which is really to say, like, it's about building the community. You got to go out and have a grassroots game. You got to do the hard yard and like get out there, start having the conversations. You know, what I've done with partnerships over 15 years has really been about like leading from behind, go out, learn about what's important to people, understand what's a win for them and how to be wind in their sails. And then you come out and you know, hopefully make some magic happen together. And that's what we've been doing with the Skilled Careers Coalition, right? Like, you know, we've been up and running for a little over 3 years. We're underwritten by philanthropy. We're scaled through partnership, right? Which means like we've got a really generous donor in the background who's all about like trying to close the labor gap. This is an economist. He's an economist at heart. Like he's the type of guy that's reading the labor report going like, hold up, I know that there's like solid efforts being made out there in the field doing like people are doing good work. Why is it still not closed, right? What's going on here? And so that's when he came to us and we started talking through like, hey, here's what a plan might look like. Here's the places to play. These are two white spaces where we can build on, right? One was nationally, despite like we actually like went out and took a look, like there's some really great programs out there for like within key stakeholder groups. Like, you know, there's great parent programs, education programs, there's great corporate programs, government programs. Like there's a lot of really good work being done. There's a lot of great work being done within specific sectors or specific regions, but it's all happening kind of in a silo, right? And that's not because people are like, you know, selfish and they don't want to share. It's just like you're running around like your hair's on fire, you know, unless you got time to actually go out and start to build those connections, build those bridges and have that ground game. Like it's something you can easily put on the back burner, right? So we saw a real big opportunity to be that connective tissue at a national level. How do we bring in, you know, groups from who are focused on creating technicians to groups that are looking at manufacturing? And then the other side of it was how do we actually reposition skilled trades as a skilled career, right? Like how do you evolve the blue collar mentality to make sure that it's embraced, and like you want to always honor the tradition and the legacy of that, because that's like one of the coolest pieces about it is that sentiment of like I'm rolling up my sleeves and building something special, while also letting people know it's a career, right? It is an opportunity for you to turn your ability to like, you know, if you're a 10-year-old and you like stacking bricks for Lego or you like world building in Minecraft, like there's a skilled trade out there that you can leverage that and turn that into a high purpose, high pay career. And I think that's the second half of what we were looking at is like, hey, how do we actually tell the story of the opportunities within the trades? How do we give young people, specifically like looking at Gen Z, right? How do we say, hey, listen, like, I know that you might have just crossed plumber off your list of potential careers because you hear dad cuss every time he's got to call one, or like, you know, technicians getting crossed off the list because you're like, the car's broken down again. I got to go to, like, don't redline that career just because you heard mom and dad cuss about it. Like there's a reason why, like they're paying a lot, or it's taking a long time to get to that person, right? And that's because there's actually a tremendous opportunity within the trades. So I think that's how, like, I mean, lo and behold, like the thing that I would say to anybody that I was talking to on jobsite right now is like the Skill Careers Coalition is trying to build bridges and bring people together while also getting Gen Z to cross that bridge and understand that there's a really viable opportunity to come work in the trades.
Because that's the issue, right? With the younger generation, I will call it Gen Z, whatever. Because right now there's a big gap in the trades. At least from my field, plumbers, I think the average age is like 48, like almost 50. So there's a huge gap from where the next generation is coming in and the last generation of like true plumbers are leaving. So in order to fill that gap, we need the younger generation, but they're not really like what's the word I'm looking for? Like want to be involved with it solely because like they probably get like a bad like plumbers get bad reps or anything like that. But then you also have to look at it as, you know, you can get a license in 5 years. You could be making six figures in a little bit over 5-6 years, you know, and obviously strategically working it to get that point. I guess the question is, like, what's like the one piece of advice that you can give a Gen Zer or a young kid who's probably in vocational high school, maybe starting out in vocational high school, that's like, oh, I don't really know what exactly to do or if this is even the right thing for me to do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm talking to Gen Z, it's like, hey, get curious. Like, go ahead, get on YouTube, get on TikTok. Like, there's so many amazing videos out there that you can learn from the comfort of your, you know, iPad, iPhone, whatever you want, right? Like, and you can get a really good sense of like, hey, like this is, you know, there's a day in the life. Like, let me learn about like what's cooking here. You know, obviously the other side of it too is supportive relationships for a kid. Like, if you're like, you know, if you're on campus and you can talk to your career counselor, like you can get an idea of like, hey, what's demand like for HVAC in the region right now, right? Or, you know, talk to family and friends, right? Talk to your best friend's dad who's in the trades. Talk to your uncle, right? Like, go have that conversation. But I'll also say, like, it's not incumbent upon the kid, right? Gen Z, like, it's tough, man, to actually, like, you know, go out and make that first connection. I think if I look at the labor gap, it's probably comprised of a few different gaps. You know, everybody wants to talk about the capacity issues that are coming with, you got, you know, 5 pros leaving and you only got 1 coming in, right? Like, obviously that's creating a capacity issue. But I look at it, I'm like, there's a connection gap, right? We're not meeting Gen Z where they're at, which is either in their classroom at an early age, right? Like, if you're coming in and you're trying to talk to them at 18, it's too late. It's too late. You've waited too long, right? If you're a contractor, you know, in the area and you're like, I know that I'm going to need, you know, I rotate through techs every 3 years or something like that, and I know that I'm going to need to build my pipeline, you better be in middle school talking about what you're doing, bringing the tools down, like doing, like getting involved in programs like SkillsUSA where you can like be a judge or host a competition. Go create that in life, in real life, you know, connection point. But then also reinforce it, and from what we're seeing on social media, like if I'm a fishing boat captain, fellas, like I don't want to just drop a line in the water and freaking pray. I want to put the boat on some fish, right? If you want to go find some Gen Z, you know, individuals, like you got to go on TikTok, you got to go on YouTube, and I mean it's crazy. Like if you just go Google search, just literally the 2 terms, forklift, TikTok. In that first search result, like you'll see in there, like it says there's 20 million posts. People are posting about operating their forklift, maintaining the forklift, like doing like, and obviously doing crazy shit too. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, but like I think that's the connection gap is like one of the biggest pieces in closing the labor gap. So it's honest to like try and inspire that young person in the virtual world, right? In those online communities. But also it's on the supportive relationships and the adults, you know, in that kid's life or in the community to get into the classroom. And I mean, did you guys know what you wanted to be when you were like 14? Like, no, no, we all know what we don't want to be, right? We start crossing things off the list real quick. But what happens is like, I mean, if you're you can't expect a Gen Z kid to A, know what they want to be, and then B, pursue it, right? To go out and like gather information. Like it's kind of a push in. You got to go meet them where they're at. And so I think it's more on the, the near peer or supportive relationships, as we call them. Like, so it's that like 24-year-old who's just got their first job and is like, hey, real talk, the first 90 days is brutal. Like I'm rolling around spools of wire and it's tough, but also I've never felt closer to the guys. Like I know that I'm on a path to high earning. You hear that from a near peer, that's awesome.
I didn't know.
What do you guys feel like?
What do I feel like?
I mean, how would you break it down? Like, say your buddy's cousin came to a barbecue and was like, "What, dude? What do you do?" Like,
if I spoke like from my experience in the trade so far, because all right, so I guess kind of like what you were saying is like it's kind of like a leap of faith. I didn't know I was going to be a plumber. I was a chef for 10 years, that's why I went to vocational school as well. I got my vocational high school diploma in culinary arts. I've worked in that trade for a little bit over 10 years. And then I just kind of like fell out of it. I didn't really want to do it anymore. So I'm like, let me talk to a few of the guys. And my brother, who's been a plumber for like 20 to 25 years now, I was like, hey man, how's plumbing? Like, let's be real. He's like, shit sucks. But but obviously that was like, the running joke, you know what I mean? But he was like, dude, like that would be like a great opportunity for you. You can become mechanically inclined, and you don't really have to stop at plumbing. There's branches of different things that you could do in plumbing. So now that I've been doing 5 years of commercial plumbing, not only that I can I feel confident in roughing a house, like a residential house, or like diagnosing problems or whatever. I feel confident that I can go into any commercial like building space, diagnose the problem, and take care of it right then and there, regardless of whatever type of equipment it is. You know what I mean? So I think the knowledge that comes with it is something that you won't get a lot in books. And I've obviously I'm reading code books and everything like that, but it's more the hands-on. I think the hands-on is really what makes or breaks somebody. It's hard to not force somebody, but get somebody to be really hands-on if they truly don't want to be hands-on. Some people just are really born with just, living the lifestyle, 9 to 5, sitting in a cubicle all day. So, and then other guys are just born to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and, driving an hour to a job site, working for 8, 10, 12 hours, whatever it is, and then go home and do it all over again. So I think it's just the mentality of somebody, you know what I mean? So,
dude, totally get it. I'd love to see a pipeline, like a really strong pipeline being created either through high school or college athletes directly into the trades. Like you talk about, man, like, I mean, I was a catcher, right? Like I was a master of the tools of ignorance, right? As Yogi Berra liked to say, right?
Yeah.
I was, totally down for the hard work, getting dirty. Like I had never thought twice about, I went to USC and you're like going, oh, I'm going to go get like a cool I'm going to work for a sports agency. I'm going to do something like that. I didn't have anybody like barking up my tree saying, hey, dude, like, actually, a good example, we have a good family friend who's, 40-year Mason, right? Owns a great business, has a great book of business here in Orange County, like always booked. And I was talking to him while he was doing a brick walkway for us. And I was like, shit, man, if I had the opportunity to like either get in early, like say, like instead of spending $50K to go to grad school, can I get in early and help? Like, can I buy you out of your business? Can I give you a transition plan? Because your sons aren't buying it, right? Your sons aren't taking over the business, but like, hell, from where I'm sitting, it looks like you got a pretty good thing going. Like, how can I take over this? Nobody was barking up my tree that way. Like, I wish that there was that for like either high school or college athletes, right? Like, because at that point you're like, I know how to work on a team. I'm not scared of manual labor, getting into it. I know how to bust my butt. Like in some cases, you're totally cool getting dirty and getting into. If you're a center or offensive lineman, you're at the bottom of the pile. You're totally cool going into a tight crawl space.
Yeah. I'm not. I can't do crawls. I can't do tight spaces, man. Not because I'm big, but I'm very. I think I'm claustrophobic. I haven't been diagnosed with it yet, but I hate tight areas. And dude, it just freaks me the fuck out when I can't move properly. You know what I mean? So I try to avoid that.
we have a 100-year-old home here in Orange. It's old Craftsman, and it's awesome. But like, there's little things that pop up, and we have it's really rare here in Southern California to have a cellar. Like, why would you have a cellar in Southern California? It just doesn't make sense. But like, these houses have them, and our master bedroom or master bathroom has like the bathtub has like this handheld like piece on it, and my daughter snapped it off, like just ripped the hose right off of it, and it fell down under the crawl space. And my wife's like, okay, we got to call somebody. I was like, for what? Let me just take off one of the little support pieces here. Let me crawl. I was, no joke, like this, like 6 inches away from the bottom of the bathtub and like crawling under there. And I was like, I love this. This is great. I'm not freaking out. Yeah. Maybe it's all the MRIs I've been in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. So going off of our conversation now, since, the trades world is always changing, you know what I mean? Every 5-10 years, it's always something drastic happens. So where do you see the trades going, and in what direction do you see the trades going in the next 5 to 10 years in your perspective?
I mean, for one, like electricians are like going to be in crazy demand with all the data centers that are being built. I know that that's like, fairly regional. Like not every city or state is going to be getting a massive data center, but like the opportunities for electricians and HVAC, like those things don't cool themselves, man. Like you got to keep the service centers really like, temperature controlled. I think that's a massive opportunity. I'm looking at like technicians just across the board, whether it's like auto, aerospace, heavy equipment, like mechatronics and robotics. Like I love this drumbeat of like, let's reshore American manufacturing jobs. But if you go to an assembly line, it's a hell of a lot of mechatronics, right? There's a lot of like robot arms in there doing a lot of the work. Or if you're at a distribution center, you're seeing a lot of like, you got that FANUC arm, like doing a depalletizer, right? Like those are all like, that's the future of, those types of jobs. However, someone's got to service those bad boys.
Yep.
You don't just drive your car off the lot and say, I'm good. Like you got to maintain them. A lot of the robots that are, in these distribution centers that are now like every 3 miles from someone's home, just to make sure that you can get your Edge shaving gel within 2 hours of you buying it. Like those those systems, those conveyor belts, those robots, those, robot arms, the depalletizers, and then all the way into like the drayage trucks, right? Like you got, or the last mile trucks, like the technicians all over it, right? Aerospace, huge. Boeing's like saying that they need 600,000 new aerospace technicians, like to meet demand. Otherwise, no one's going anywhere.
That's the cool thing about like electricians, and like obviously I bash on them a lot. It's a friendly rivalry, but I kind of agree with you with that. Is because of the way America, and not even just America, the whole entire world is going through like a whole technology, like like phase. Like the electricity is just going to be like overpowered, and we don't have enough electricians. Now that can branch off to multitude of things, kind of like we said about the data centers. We have the solar panel electricians. We have commercial electricians. To build the data. It's all a whole bunch of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying I'll become an electrician, but if I was 18-year-old, like, no, not even 14-year-old Tiago, and I'm like, I just started high school. I'm like, you know what, man? Like, let me get into electrician. I think that would be my advice for anybody. Not saying that plumbing is like a shitty job, but the way that the world is turning now, I think becoming an electrician might be your best bet because of everything that's about to happen.
But even with plumbing too, like, I mean, even like on a strictly like residential basis, like you still have your plumbing for electrical conduit wiring to get through sometime, like, or gas or whatever, right? Like, so I don't know, like there's a handshake between everybody there. I think, it's, if you're young, like, go let it be what it's going to be. Like, go mess around, like, take a class, go to your, like, there's a bunch of really great dual credit programs that are out there now where you can like go to your high school and also go to the local community college and start to rack up certifications or credits. Like, go mess around and figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, what do you got to lose, right? You don't have to call your shot that early. Like, go lay a weld, see if you dig it. Like, go shadow somebody for a day. Like, if they'll give you access to the job site. Like, I mean, that's the best way to actually go mess around and find out. You know what I mean?
that's the only way you're going to see if you like it is by actually getting your hands on it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Dude, there's this last spring, I got a chance to go out to John Deere Davenport Works. So Davenport, Iowa, their Davenport Works facility is where they do all manufacturing assembly of their construction and forestry equipment. So they're quick to tell me no green machines up in here, only yellow, right?
Yeah.
If you're at a construction forestry site. So I go in there and I'm going down because I want to learn about, they have this kick-ass high school registered apprenticeship program where 5 local high schools in the Quad City areas have sponsored registered apprenticeship programs. They have about 30 students, give or take, and they're doing 20 hours a week in the classroom and then 20 hours a week on the floor at Deere, where they're welding and they're getting paid with benefits. It's a UAW shop. Like, so you're getting exposure to the union style, you're getting exposure to like day in the life. Summer job, you've got 40 hours a week, you're in there. And by the time you graduate, you've now got about 2,000 hours learning how to weld at Deere. And you're either going to get hired at Deere or you're going to get hired by the local community, because there's now like 30 plus 40 local businesses that are all saying like, hey, can I get in on this too? Like, I can't do a full like registered apprenticeship program, but like at Deere, if you're hosting it and you got the welding bays up, like, can I get in on that action and like I'll support with wages or something like that? So they're in on the action and they end up hiring a bunch of these young people who are like, oh, I figured out that welding's my deal. Or like, not only is welding my deal, but I want to go like next level and get into like fabricating or machining and like, you know what I mean? It was super cool. Like, I've never seen anything like it. I also was like, shoot, I don't think I had anybody when I was in high school coming to me saying like, yo, do you want to go into class or do you want to go on the floor and learn how to weld? No, like, it just didn't happen.
I mean, I think when we were in middle school and high school, the big push was just college. You know, it's just college prep. How do you get ready for college? And now the conversation is starting to shift more towards like, wait a second, maybe college isn't the only route. Maybe there's something else we can be pursuing and doing here. Because I mean, back in the day, right, the 50s, the 40s, like the trades were like very sought after, right? Like there's a ton of plumbers, carpenters, electricians at that time period. And then something weird happened in the United States where there was this big college push, and not for nothing. I mean, college is a great opportunity. There's a lot of people who make excellent careers, accountants, engineers, doctors, lawyers, the whole nine. Yeah. But there's definitely a shift going on where we're kind of looking elsewhere. And maybe it's AI, maybe it's robots. I don't know what's kind of tipping the scale, but it's definitely seems like the opportunities, there might be more and better opportunities in the trades. Whereas before it was kind of looked down upon. Now it's kind of like, hey, wait a second. Maybe this is actually...
Yeah, you're totally right. I think there's an economics piece of it. You know, like if you're 18 and you decide to go, as an apprentice, for a plumber, like you're making, well, California's minimum is like $22 an hour, right? Like you actually could conceivably work for a couple of years and make $50,000-$60,000 a year coming right out of high school. And, the delta there is that in your 4 years of going to college, you're actually spending $500,000, right? All up. Like you're spending on tuition, you're spending on cost of living, housing, all that stuff, car. And then at the same time, over those 4 years, you could be making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000. You look at that swing, that's $1 million swing in the first 4 years of your life by the time you're 22, right? Like,
and not for nothing, dude, not for nothing. College, there's also debt that compounds. So the shit gets bigger over time. It doesn't just stay where it was.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. Like, I think that's why we are where we're at right now is the cost of college became just crazy. It was also the only message. I mean, there's 2 tried and true pathways right now, or at least if you're looking at millennials and Gen Xers, like everybody's been told go to college or go into the armed forces. Yeah. Both totally good pathways. Like they're fine in and of their own right. But nobody's been talking about the vocational pathway. Like nobody's been talking about the trades. And I think that there's a little bit of a stigma too. Like, I mean, you want to look at own goals, right? Like you want to look at like where have we made a mistake? over the years, like you come home and you're like, I work my butt off so that you have a better life, whether that's like, some like, the number of times that I had buddies getting in trouble, because it definitely wasn't me. But the number of times I had buddies getting in trouble and like their dads were, on a job site or something, they'd be like, I work my butt off all day so that you can go to college, you can go to a good high school, all that stuff. Like, and that, like, they're not wrong, but also like there's a little bit of a hangover there where it's like, I'm sending you to these schools and giving you these experiences so that you have a better, air quote, life than me, which is like, oh, hold up, like that life that you got cooking is pretty solid. You know what I mean? Like, we're seeing it in some of the conversations that we've had with, first generation families here, right? Like, you get someone who immigrates to the U.S. and they're laying brick or doing construction, and they're like, I came here so that you would have a better life than me, right? Like, I'm laying brick so you don't have to. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh man, like at the same time, like it might be a false bill of goods, right? Mm-hmm. Like that $250,000 college dream, like that could be, it's not for everybody, right? So you talk about shifting the narrative a bit, and it comes not only like from, straight to Gen Z, but also like I said, the people around them, right? The supportive relationships, like, before you kick rocks and you're like, I want a better life for my kid. You're like, well, hold up, like just real quick, like, do we have a solid life? Do we have are we in a home? Do we have good people around us? Like, are we providing? Like, yeah, that's a good life, guys. Like,
and also better might be like, hey, you can get into the trades as an apprentice plumber, then go up to be a journeyman, and like you could be a business owner that's a plumber, right? So it's like you don't necessarily have to go white. You can go blue collar to go white collar, sort of. Like you can be a business owner in that space, so then that kind of leapfrogs all of those kind of thoughts, because that's what it comes down to, right? It's like when you're the worker or the labor, you are kind of breaking your back to some extent, and the leverage does come from having and working with other people, right, to some degree. Mm-hmm. So, but it's like you can do that within the trades, or honestly, the good thing with unions now is like they really protect their people, and these big companies are protecting their people. They're not as exploited as they used to be back in the day, from my understanding at least.
I mean, I'd love to see more young people, like straight out of high school, get an opportunity to have that, like, that quote unquote gap year, right? Like you hear about a lot of like college kids taking a gap year after they've graduated, and they're like, cool, I have my business degree or my liberal arts degree. Like, let me take a minute and like think about what I want to do with it. How about we just turn that around, right? Like, how about you give that kid some space to think and maybe develop some skills for a year or two, and then get them in. Like, I mean, going straight out of high school into construction management out of 4-year school, like, well, are you sure? Like, unless you grew up with people around you on a job site or in construction, like, is that really what you want to do, right? Or if you want to learn how to run a business, like, you can always go back to school. You know what I mean? Like, sure, if you want digital or financial literacy, like, those are things that you can do after you develop the know-how and the skills, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's absolutely a pathway to going and being like, yeah, I'm an apprentice on my path to journeyman, and then, wait, I'm gonna go get my license, and I'm gonna start going there, and like I'll have my own truck, and next thing you know, 1 truck turns into 5, and you got to book a business. And right now, like, there's no surprise, like VCs, venture capital and private equity are doing roll-ups of the mom and pop businesses, around the region, because they're good businesses, right? Yeah. Like, and mom and pop has no one to give it to, right? Or sell it to, right? Like, keep it in the family.
I think that's the biggest downfall for a lot of mom and pops too. Just going off of that real quick, is like the kids either don't want to inherit it or have anything to do with it solely because they saw like what their parents went through with it. You know what I mean? So they're probably thinking like, I don't want to have the same life that they did. But I think to Alex's point that he mentioned was that there is an opening there where you don't really necessarily have to be like full blue collar. You become blue collar into white collar, you know what I mean, where you can still manage people but still being in that blue collar seat. So,
and also to that point, right, like if your family built the business, like they did the foundation work, like when you come in on top, it's like there's already been so much of the grunt, like the blood, sweat, and tears that have been poured into it. You kind of get to come in and it's like things are a little bit more established. You're not breaking your back as much. It's just much more of like running a business as opposed to like setting everything up from, you know, from the ground up, if you will.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like I got a good buddy of mine who played offensive line at USC, and he actually had one more year eligibility left, and he ended up foregoing that last year. It would have been his fifth year senior year because his dad had a boring company here in Southern California, and he didn't go he didn't go straight to the top. It wasn't like straight behind the desk. It was like no, like you're up at 4:30 on the side at 5. You're going to do the hard yard, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll be the foreman, and then maybe, just maybe, you might take over this joint one day. But you're like, that's not typical, right? You don't see a lot of that generational handover. You know, that's what I was talking about. Like the mason who did our front yard. I was like, man, if I would have known, I would have thought twice about like actually like investing time and funds into grad school. Like if I knew the viability, like the economic viability of potentially owning a masonry business and, you know, understanding what his book of business looked like. I mean, like, sorry, I was like, after my 5th conversation with him, I was like, wait, hold on. I've just done the math. Do you own 3 houses? Okay. Just checking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, cause you said you were up at Lake Arrowhead last weekend at your house. And then now you're going to go to Palm Springs? Just checking. Yeah.
Totally.
Just making sure I didn't fucking miss anything here.
Yeah, because I remember being in high school, dude, and you're like looking at like what are high paying careers. So you're on Google and it's lawyers, it's doctors, it's this, it's that. It's like, it's so underrated, man. Having a trades business, to your point, dude, it's now having been kind of on both sides, because I had the white collar corporate job, and now I'm kind of back in the trades world, more in like a sales, you know, project management role. And I can tell you, like, the trades it's where it's at. It's definitely where it's at, and it's funner too. You know, there's something to be said with being around the boys and having fun, and the banter is much different in the trades than it is in the cubicle world. You know.
Let me just say this real quick. Half the shit that I say at the job site, I can't say in front of any office people. So I'm so blessed and honored that I get to be on a job site with a bunch of guys just talking about the most reckless shit possible. So I'm blessed to be inside this blue collar world, you know, respectfully, of course. But
I'll put it on you too. You say the guys, but like, I mean, that's more of a sentiment. Like, you start to see a lot more women coming out.
You do?
I mean, that's
absolutely.
Like, you want to close the labor gap.
Absolutely.
Like, you got to address 50% of the employable population. Like, you know, and this is me coming in hot because I'm a daughter dad, and so it's like the number of times that I've been like my 6-year-old's way into the Eras tour on Disney Plus and watching Taylor Swift do her thing. I was like, do you know how many riggers, you know, like, do you know there's a fleet of at least 10 massive big rigs that are touring her, like all this skill, like it's like one of those where I was like, you know, there's a place for you in the trades too. Like, and that banter, by the way, like that bullshitting, like that doesn't change.
No.
It's the same sentiment. Like I get what you're saying about, like, you know, saying stuff with the boys. Like, I felt the same way. Like, even just going and playing, you know, sports and like playing at college. Like, the number of times that the baseball and football guys would be like messing around with like the soccer girls who are probably more badass than us, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going, you know, like everybody, as the Aussies can say, can take the piss, right? Like, and have a good time and mess with each other. But like, I get that culture, you know, that transcend that thing that I felt on the sports teams, that transcends it. Like, when I talk to, you know, folks who are on the job site, it's the same thing, right? Like, you can bust chops, but when it comes to, you know, push comes to shove, you guys are rolling up your sleeves and like getting in it together, right? Like, so.
Because it's a bonding thing, you know. It's kind of like a brotherhood, and like when I say brotherhood, like it's not solely again for the males. Like, I've worked with females too. They're badass. Like, they're better than half the guys that I work with sometimes. Sure. And like, but they act like one of the boys, and then sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh shit, you're a girl. Okay, hang on. You gotta... but they act, but then they act like one of the guys. But then I'm like, oh dude, like you're kick ass, fucking, you know. like women don't really make up the majority of the trades, but there's more women going into the trades than ever now. You know what I mean? And
I mean, Tiago, even recently, right? We had that roofer on, Liv the roofer.
Liv Mills, shout out to Liv Mills.
She's crushing it in the roofing game.
She's a certified dog, dude. Certified dog.
Running a field service business isn't easy. Between managing your team, your customers, and your bottom line, there's a lot to keep up with. But what if there was a way to make it easier? That's where field service management software comes in. FieldPulse is the field service management platform built for pros like you. Whether you're a small business looking to grow for a larger company ready to scale, FieldPulse has everything you need all in one place, with advanced features for scheduling and dispatching, customer management, estimates and invoices, work order management, maintenance plans, and price booking. What really sets FieldPulse apart is how flexible the platform is. You can build workflows that actually fit on how your team operates, keeping every step organized from the first call to the final invoice.
Dude, I'm telling you, like the number of young women who are out there, and maybe from a very early age, they've been like, hey, I want to be a wedding planner. You want to just remove wedding planner from like the title and put in general contractor and just watch out. Like, I mean, you're delivering a project on time, under budget, like that, like that's your goal, right? Like, and all of that know-how is absolutely relevant. Like anything that you would be doing as a wedding planner would absolutely be relevant within the world of like as a general contractor or project manager or foreman, right? Like that, like, but no 6-year-old girl's being told that right now. You know what I mean? So how do you mess with that paradigm?
Do you think it's because A, they're too young right now? Like, like obviously you don't say that as a 6-year-old, but like when they start growing up and start figuring out like, okay, what do I really want to do? You think it's like the parents that probably need to like, I don't know, like give them a little bump? Or
dude, I'm telling my 6-year-old right now, like whenever, like we had a huge redevelopment happen, like maybe a few blocks away, culinary dropouts, a big restaurant that went in, and we saw it get, from demo day all the way to opening, right? Like, and I'm sitting there going like, hey, Quinn, like, could you see yourself doing that? Or D, do you see, like, what do you think about that? Like, it starts with the parent for sure, right? Or, not whoever's in that kid's life, like, it's literally just saying, and also that could be you. You know what I mean? Like, there's kids books out there. I just came home with one that's all about, women in construction, right? And so it's like if you can plant those seeds early on, like for sure, like that would get them into it. So yeah, like there's no time that's too early to start talking to a kid about like what they could be. The whole goal there is like in any potential career conversation with any kid about any career is just making sure that they know what's what. Like, hey, be curious about it, understand what goes into it before you start redlining it, right? Like, obviously I'm not going to tell you to take a look at being a career as a lineman, in telecommunications, right? Not NFL. I'm not going to tell you to take a look at being a lineman if you're scared of heights. You know what I mean? Like there's some fundamental things that you're going to have to get past, like, or if you're not into being all by yourself and working alone, like you might have to figure out where you have, opportunities to work alongside people, right? Like those are just some basic things, but giving young people a chance to like see themselves in a career or like understand what goes into it is huge. That mentorship component is like as important. Like the stuff we do on Skills Jam, our social media channels on TikTok and YouTube for the Skilled Careers Coalition. Skills Jam has two approaches. One is like peer-to-peer or near-peer content, right? We want to show a young person, Gen Z, if you can see it, you can be it, right? And so it's like, let's find somebody who looks like they're of the same, cut from the same cloth as that kid, and give them something aspirational to look at. The other side of it's mentorship, right? Like we work with Ty Pennington. He's in a lot of our content, and he's awesome. Not because Gen Z knows who Ty is. Like Ty was, from, ABC Extreme Home Makeover and all that stuff, like, and is on HGTV. Like parents, teachers, adults know Ty Pennington, right? Gen Z doesn't. What Ty's really good at is self-deprecating to a point where it's like I can connect with that Gen Z student who's with me on this in this content and on the social post, and imparting some knowledge right there, because that's half of it too, is like making sure that mentorship comes out because you talk about the labor gap and the connection gap, like we talked about earlier. There's also a knowledge gap, man. Like with those five pros leaving and one coming back in, there's a whole world of knowledge that's just not being passed down, right? And that's criminal, right? So to the degree that all of us can kind of impart some knowledge about career pathways, whether that's, you know, just having a real conversation with a kid, and or, you know, getting online. And I'd actually challenge like you guys and all anybody in the world of the trades, like start posting online. Like, I mean, mess around on TikTok. Like, I know it's crazy to say out loud, but like, you know, be a producer of content, not just a consumer. Go out and like document like day in the life. Like, here's what show your fails. Like, let people learn from you messing up your incinerator because you took a shot at it, right? Like, like
that sounds very personal to JJ, by the way.
Yeah, just a bit, I mean, I did figure it out. I will say that. Like, I also did fix our AC unit, but by reinstalling a capacitor. Like, and I was like, my wife would have. She's like, I definitely would have called somebody. I did not think you could pull this off. Like, I was like, this is basically changing a battery. Let's just call it. Yeah. I just had to make sure I didn't electrocute myself.
Oh god. Going off of the whole parenting thing, like trying to like distill that little seed of the trades.
Yeah.
I think also a big thing too in the trades is leadership and how to lead by example. Now, I've worked with many guys who were, you know, they were mid leaders. Like I've worked with so many guys. I know a good leader from a great leader, but I guess from your perspective, right? What separates that just good leader gets by, you know, the guys really don't really fuck with him like that, to a great one where it's like full on respect, you know what I mean? What's like some of the key things that you see?
Okay, so this is like a cool one, and I'm gonna take a little parallel path here. I started working with there's a college just like, you know, 5 minutes away from my house called Chapman University. They're a D3 baseball team. I needed to get back out on the field. Like, I needed to fill that hole in my heart. So I started, you know, being a leadership and culture coach for the team, just volunteering, just like because I missed being around the guys. And one of the things that we started doing was using a behavioral test, a personality test called Predictive Index. And going through that, first you understand who you are and how you operate. Like, you know, are you high dominance or high collaboration? Are you extroverted, introverted? Are you patient or impatient? Are you formal or flexible? Like, those are like the paradigms that you're working on. And what we started to see, like, is leadership is, you know, it can be one or the other. It's not like it's not like a one size fits all. Like the team that I was working with, they were highly assertive, high dominance, and low patience, right? And then you had a handful of guys, like one or two seniors, that were very low dominance and high collaboration, and then also high patience. Guess who the team captains were? The guys that were low dominance, high collaboration, and then high patience, because they were different, right? And they weren't bringing sand to the beach like everybody else was with their dominance and their impatience, right? So I think leadership for me, like, it kind of looks at, like, you know, what's the group look like, right? Meeting the group where they're at, filling the need of the group so that the whole team can go further faster, right? You know, if everybody's super collaborative and very patient with each other, are things going to get delivered on time? Probably not. You need one person in that situation. You need someone who's a little bit more dominant and assertive, saying like, guys, I know that we all want to make sure that we talk this one through left, right, and center, but at the end of the day, we have 3 hours to get this thing done, right? Let's get cracking, right? So leadership for me is like really understanding the dynamics of the group, and then also like the interpersonal stuff, and making sure that you're meeting somebody where they're at, right? So that's a tough skill. Like, you got to be perceptive, right? You got to be open to like saying like, it's not just my way or the highway. It's like, I want to know how you operate. Tiago, are you more assertive, right? And you want to get things going and cooking, in which case, like, a nice counterbalance to that might be like, listen, dude, you can sit in the conductor's seat in the train and get this thing cooking and going, but I'm going to sit in the caboose and make sure that this train's not leaving the station until the rest of the crew's on board, right? Like those are different forms of leadership. So that for me is like you got to just kind of keep your eyes open and see what the group needs.
It's adapting, right? Because you have so many like personalities and everything like that. It's like because I've worked with a bunch of guys where it's like their way or no way, and then everyone had to adapt to their rules or culture or whatever. Where the other guy, where other people, they adapt to the other personalities. They try to like, okay, let me hone in on like that one thing that they're really good at. Try to bring everybody together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a great one of my best friends. His brother-in-law is the defensive coordinator for the Panthers. And prior to that, he was defensive coordinator for the Broncos. And there's a story that came out when he first took over the defense and was literally just coming in. He's like, my system's not markedly different than the previous guy's system. However, the lexicon, the language is totally different. Leadership that I saw like in that moment was him going, I'm going to learn their language instead of making my entire defensive unit learn my language. Right? Like that, you talk about adaptability and meeting guys where they're at. Like that's leadership right there. Like you got to go find the gap in what's needed on the project or within the team and go fill that gap. Like that's leadership for me.
And I think that's something important that the trades and trade owners could kind of learn more of, because there's this weird sort of sentiment between like masters and journeymen and their apprentices where they talk really down to them, and there's this weird sort of energy around that. I think to Tiago's point, it's like if there was better leadership where they actually try to understand their people and what they needed, and sometimes people need a gentler hand, and to your point, sometimes people need a little bit more of a shove, but just that like understanding your people. I think that'd make the trades overall more appealing if like the leaders that were within them like cultivated more to the teams and the people around them. So I think that's a huge part of this all that I don't think people consider enough of like, how are you and your people as leaders to the people coming in, because that could make or break retention ultimately.
Yeah. Well, and it's also on it's not just on the leader, it's on the team too, right? Like read the room.
Yeah.
If your foreman's a guy that is not talkative and like is a little bit more introverted, like don't go blow up his or her spot with like your 7 a.m. chatty Cathiness, right? Like they're not here for that. Like read the room.
Yeah.
So it's not just on that one individual who's the leader, it's also incumbent on the group. Like
Totally.
That's what the organism's all about, right? Like you got to go further faster together.
I've been thinking about this because this was like cooking in my brain for a minute.
Are you thinking about going or goatee? Yeah.
No, absolutely not, man.
Bring it back. Like, we've been sitting on facial hair for about 50 minutes now. Like, let's bring it on back. Can I pull it off? Yeah, dude, you can. Go for it.
I do need to get a trim. It's Thanksgiving next week, so I need to get a trim. I'm not getting the goatee. I no absolute shit of a doubt. I am not getting a goatee. But that caught me off guard. Going off of what Alex was saying earlier, how he was, he lived both worlds, and how I was saying it's the trades life, the tradesmen and women, or the lifestyle of a tradesman or woman is a brotherhood, right? Mm-hmm. So other industries that aren't trade related, right? What are like some things that they can learn from that, that brotherhood that trades have? What's like that one thing that they could like, if they could take one thing out from that whole entire thing and put it into their world, like business, accounting, lawyers, doctors, whatever the industry is. What's like that one thing that would be like, okay, like we need to be like a brotherhood type, type deal. You know what I mean? I hate the thing of like, we're all a family. I hate that. I really do. And I'll tell you why. I hate it when, like, when the office people, and I mean, don't disrespect by this, so whoever watches this, I'm sorry. But I hate it when people say we are a family. At the end of the day, yeah, you guys are like my brothers, but we have a job to do. It's business first. Mm-hmm. And that's my rant. But I don't really agree with the whole family thing because at least for me personally, someone's always told me like, oh, like they hit me with the family, thing. This company's a family, blah blah blah, whatever, and they would use it against me, you know what I mean? And I would start to feel bad, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then like, okay, Tiago, here's the 12-hour shift. Oh, thank you so much. This is exactly what I wanted to do. But like, yeah, again, so kind of went off track there, but what's one thing that other industries can learn from that whole entire brotherhood from the trades? From your perspective.
For me, like, because it's not that dissimilar from like the lessons I learned on the ball field, right? Like, you got to suffer together and you got to celebrate together, right? Like, and language matters, man. Like, I mean, the family thing, like, you never know where that's coming from. Someone actually legitimately might be like, I don't have anybody else, and like this crew here is my crew. Let it be that to them, right? Like, and hopefully it doesn't come out as shame for Tiago, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's a big shame moment.
Yeah, I mean, don't use it like mom might use it on you, and it's like, I'm not coming. Yeah.
Yeah, JJ, way to make me feel like a complete fucking asshole, dude.
No, dude, but it's real. Like, I mean, and at the same time, like, it is your job, right? Like, it isn't family, right? And it's not going to be that for everybody. But I mean, for me, like, looking at any of those lessons that you can learn is you got a job to do, right? Like, and yeah, I talk about suffering and celebrating together. Like, you got to show up, you got to do the work, and I think that's the ability to either verbally or just like with a nod, like be able to communicate and be like, like, hey, we got to do whatever it takes to get this thing done. That's a universal, man. Whether you're like doing, on spreadsheets, in accounting, or you're, on a job site laying a foundation, right? Like, or in a kitchen, man. Tiago, did you ever watch The Bear?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. That's one of my favorite shows.
So one of my favorite moments, you want to talk about like the verbal and nonverbal stuff that like,
dude.
How do we keep things going? Like when he daps his chest like that, right? And the sous chef, she's like, oh boy, oh my God, it was that bad. I gave you heartburn. Like, he goes, no. Like, sometimes you're moving around, 90 miles a minute in a kitchen. You don't have time to like sit there and say, hey, I'm really sorry about this. And he's like, so you tap your chest. And that was a sign in the kitchen to say, hey, that's my bad. I'm sorry. Let's move on. And we can break it down later, right?
Yeah. Because the kitchen's so high paced. Yeah. It's so like I've been there, you know what I mean? I've been in that situation before. And like, again, I think the culinary world is a whole different, like, different culture shock too, for somebody that's never been in it. But I found similarities in it solely because, we say stuff that we don't mean to say, especially when like, things are like high stress situations. Like, for a plumber, for me personally, it's like tying in a live water line, and there's like thousands of gallons of water going through, and like, people are just shooting the shit. And I'm like, come the fuck on now. So, and then you have the culinary world where you have like a huge dinner rush going on, like a 20 top just sat. And you're fucked, you just ran out of steak. So I get it, you know what I mean? It's I actually have noticed that too, and I remember distinctly one of the line cooks I used to work with, he used to do the same thing. He would be like tap his head or something like that. He'd be like, my bad, you know what I mean? We'll talk about it later. And then obviously we did, fucking and then we would just have a beer afterwards, you know what I mean? So, but to that point, I think it's that little languages, you know what I mean? Like, I think everybody has one. It could be something small like this, or it could be like a big group talk, you know what I mean? I think it all depends on how to approach it and what works for the team.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about like running a check, right? Like whether you're in the office or on a job site, like go run a check on that. Like, Tiago's going to go run a check on Alex. Just be like, y'all good? Everything, you got everything? And Alex, you could be like, yeah, man, everything's right as rain. I got this thing. Like, all's good. Appreciate you checking in on me. Or you could be like, no, man, everything's sideways right now, and I need help doing X, Y, and Z. Like, at that point, like, you're creating trust within the team. I think that's a universal, right? Again, job site to office. Like, I think that's a big takeaway, right? And then when you start to suffer, that somebody's actually got your back, because it's not just like the first time that they're running a check on you when you're like amidst all the suffering, or you're not, someone's not just popping up to give you a high five for the first time because everything's going right. Like you gotta like reinforce it, do over and over again. Run a check, like Tiago, what's shaking, buddy? How you doing tonight? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it has to be real, and those little check-ins matter.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't know if Alex had anything. My bad. I thought. Okay.
Just a lot of nodding.
Yeah, like that. One topic that so obviously I stalked your LinkedIn page, and I noticed that you've actually worked with SkillsUSA, and you actually did mention that earlier on the pod. So me and Alex, we both came from the same high school. We both came from Diamond, which is I think they're easily one of the top vocational schools in Massachusetts. And SkillsUSA was such a huge thing for us. I competed in it, and it's so cool to like actually like be in a whole entire room with like-minded people that like, oh hey, like you work with your hands, oh you doing the trades, oh what do you do? But and like it was so easy to communicate with them. So my question: how did you get started into SkillsUSA? And what's the impact that you've seen so far as of late with SkillsUSA?
All right, so you remember early on when we were talking about like the origin story of the Skill Careers Coalition?
Yeah.
How like before we started building this thing, we wanted to make sure that we weren't bringing sand to the beach, right? So we were like, let's go understand what's out there, what's working, what's not, where is the places for us to play, right? Which we already talked about. It's breaking down silos and then inspiring the next generation. When we were doing that discovery, we came across SkillsUSA. We went out to Atlanta. We went to their National Leadership and Skills Conference, which is at the end, middle of June every single year. And you've got 111 competitions, I think it is, right? Like all states and territories, like high school, post-secondary coming down. And like when you walk in there to the Georgia World Congress Center, like your lid is fully flipped, right? You're like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing. And for me, like having been, played college sports, I was like, oh my God, this is like if the NCAA decided to run all of their sports championships in a 3-day window in one location, like this is that. Like it was like super cool.
That level.
And for us, it's like, no, is everybody going to be hanging a banner or like taking top 3? No, that's definitely not the case, right? But the idea that if you are in high school, you are in post-secondary and you like competing, right? And, maybe you're not getting a chance to like, go play sports or whatnot, but like, you're like, shoot, like I could care if I'm playing baseball. What my passion is roofing or HVAC or something like that. Like, and you're learning and you're playing that trade and you want to compete. Heck yeah, SkillsUSA is where it's at. Like that is, it was one of the coolest things to see all these young people kind of coming together and like competing. And like a lot of times like at nationals, like there's a lot of young kids who have, if very rarely, if ever, left town, right? And so this is their first big trip. Who knows if they're ever going to take another big trip again, right? Like, it's such a cool experience. And so, yeah, like we saw them, we're like, hey, like, how do we work together? How do we tell your story better? So if you look at any of our Skills Jam content, like that we've gone down there and produced a bunch of Skills Jam videos for the last 3 years. We bring Ty Pennington down, to walk the floor and be a host on our programming. And yeah, man, like the whole goal is to shed some light on that if you can see it, you can be it. Let's show some videos of young people doing cool things. Not every kid out there who's in career and technical education is going to be competing in SkillsUSA. We totally get that, but we also want them to know about SkillsUSA or give them enough information so they go talk to their advisor or an administrator and be like, did you guys know? Like, because it is super special. Like, I think it's really, really unique and really, really cool that, young people have that opportunity. And again, like I said, it's not the right, it's not a fit for everybody. Like, there's a number of SkillsUSA members who, might win their competitions at like regional or state. And it's like, can I go to Atlanta? I can't. Like, I'm already working, right? Like, so yeah, like I think it's just a really cool potential part of your journey when you're developing your trade and you're developing your ability. And then, I've only talked about the skills side of things. Like SkillsUSA's leadership programs are phenomenal, right? Like it's not enough just to like have the know-how on how to like frame a house. You got to understand the interpersonal stuff. You got to understand, like digital literacy or financial literacy, right? Like, if we've all come out there and like, minted these freshly, these amazing new young people who are going into the trades, and they don't know how to manage their budget and their wallet, like then we're doing them a disservice. Like, so seeing all those intangibles that SkillsUSA brings to the table is like that. I came for the skills and the competition. I stayed for their programs, like, how they develop the human, which is really, really cool. Tiago, were you competing in culinary?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That was very intense because I was in the baking side of things. I was doing the bake. So
the dark pastry arts. Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very cutthroat, especially in the culinary. I got humbled. I got humbled. I'm like, yo, dude, there's some motherfuckers that can do this shit. You know what I mean? And but the cool thing was the connection of like meeting different people, and like even like going back, like circling back to the whole entire podcast, right? The knowledge. They know something that I don't know, and then like a few of them like taught me tips and tricks, and I'm like, why the fuck did I not think of this? Different people, like, learn that knowledge. Different people know different things, and it was just a great moment for me. I never made it to Atlanta. Honestly, respectfully, I don't think I should have been there because that's a whole different level. I've seen pictures, I've seen videos, and I'm like, I'm good. You got fucking Cake Boss fucking over here making a 7-tier cake out of just one pastry bag. Like, no, I'm good.
It's the hardest part of the entire expo and the conference to walk through is the culinary area, because I'm just man, like I just want to grub right now.
Oh yeah.
Alex, did you compete?
I didn't. I went to Diamond for automotive, and I don't know why I did automotive. Okay. I think I like the camaraderie in the shop and stuff, but I was in high school. I was kind of checked out in terms of automotive and the shops in general. It took me a while to kind of circle back.
What are we talking automotive? Like collision repair, service
automotive,
tech,
automotive technology, kind of oil changes, tire rotations, transmission work. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm.
Dude, I had we still have it. It's my grandfather's. He passed it down to me. A 72 GMC Sprint, which is basically the GM version of an El Camino. And when I got it, it was on the condition of like, hey, like you gotta know how to do a few things, right? One is change your own oil. So I learned how to do that. And then out of necessity, how to adjust the idle, because my grandfather's friends who actually worked on the car and built it, they're like, we have a 4-barrel Holly on here, and if you're stalling out, it's probably because you're flooding the engine and the idles needs to be adjusted. Here's how you do it. And so I'm like, all right, I got a little glimpse into under the hood, but the God's honest truth is like, I wish they would have taught me body work, because these old cars, like you get a little rust around the window, you got no aftermarket weather stripping does any car justice, old car justice. Like water's getting in, air's getting in, and it's like, but man, like if I could go, like I actually like I've been trying to look in the area to see if there's any like tech programs where you can actually work on your own car, because like that would be rad. I'd love to be able to do that. I would pay what I would pay to go like get a certificate somewhere, like just to go work on my own car and have somebody actually tell me exactly what I should be doing, because I'm so scared of messing it up. Like it's a beautiful.
I don't blame
car.
you. I don't fucking blame you. Hell no. That's why I send my car to the mechanic. I don't fucking like oil changes, turbo changes. I can do that shit, but it's like, what if I fuck something up? You know what I mean? My mentality.
There's a lot of computers too now in the cars. Older cars, we're different.
The newer the newer cars with like all the motion sensors and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? So
I mean, that's when you're talking about like being a field tech for any of these like like any of the heavy equipment, right? Like whether you're working on a Deere or Caterpillar or any of these big machines, like you're coming out as a tech, and not only do you have to understand how to do the hardware, but you're also doing like software diagnostics, right? Yeah. And there's a good chance that the actual error is like sitting in the system and not the actual hardware. but like, I mean, you've got to be a Swiss Army knife of a human to be a field tech right now. Like, isn't that crazy?
Right now.
Like,
Right now.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is the part of our podcast where we do a lightning round questionnaire. I'm gonna ask you maybe 10, 15 random questions. They're gonna be completely random, JJ. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right. So, buckle up. Get ready for this one. All right. Let's go with this one. By the way, I did use ChatGPT for this. So, what is the biggest "I'm too grown for this shit" moment that you had this year? If that makes any sense.
It's got to be like, I mean, there's been there's too many things that happen around the house that pest control. Like we got rats and stuff like that are constantly like cruising. Like we got the cellar, we got a raised foundation, we got the attic, and like I'm crawling up in the attic, like getting into our insulation and stuff like that, and I'm going like, the hell are you doing? Like, go pay someone to do, like, and also, by the way, what if you actually find the rat? Like, what are you gonna do then? Like, I have cameras set up in there and like, got traps everywhere, and like I just watch these things just walk around. And I was like, you know what, this is why I probably need to call somebody. I'm too old.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Murdoch moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's one thing people take way too seriously nowadays?
To be honest, they take complaining a little too seriously. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you see a lot of people, their mode of communication is turned into a gripe, right? And now on one hand, yeah, it sucks to hear people complain. On the other hand, don't take it too seriously. Like, like if somebody's griping, like they're getting stuff off their chest, but like, I think that's one of the things where I'm like, if everybody just like pump the brakes, like don't assume that somebody's griping because they really are like pissed off about something. Like take it all, give them some grace, right? Like let it lay for a little bit, and if you have to do something about it, then do something about it, right? Like if you have to help turn somebody's day around, then cool. But 9 times out of 10, like I see a lot of people that gripe, and then it's just their mode of communication. It's just like, you probably all have those friends. Like the first thing that they say is like, you won't believe what what happened to me today. Like, and you're like, okay, I know what's coming now, right? Like,
here we go again.
So, exactly, yeah. So it's like, all right, like it's probably just their way of like, unwinding a little bit. But yeah, don't take a gripe too seriously. Let it lay.
Yeah, I totally agree with the whole the complaint thing. 100%. I think people complain too much. I think it's definitely softened the generation a little bit. Everyone feels entitled. So
yeah,
that's my take on it.
Well, you also got, with everybody complaining all the time, you get desensitized to it.
Yeah.
Like so. Anyways, that's my deal. I try to be a ray of sunshine in any room that I walk into, boys.
Love that. Let's see. What's a food? Alex, you can answer this question too. But what's a food you pretend to like because society pressures you to like it?
I'm also. You want to talk about like going back to question number 1, where I'm like too old for this shit? I don't have to fake it anymore either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I don't like it, I don't like it. Every once in a while, I'll go get sushi, and like
I was just about to say sushi too.
Yeah, people try and talk about sea urchin, is it unagi or something like that?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I don't need to show up for you. Like I'm brave to eat this. Like hard pass. I'll eat most anything else. Like hell, I got through one of my college classes. I'll never forget. It was at Cal Poly. I had to take a science GE, and so I took a survey course, a test course called People, Pests, and Plagues. And I swear I got an A in this class because we did these like hikes and we went and learned about bugs, and I offered to eat the bugs, like just to provide color commentary, but also like I've been doing this for long. I know exactly where I can like create like a little kudos and like like if I knew that I was maybe a bubble guy, like I might get a C in a class, but I could get a B. Guess what? Professor's going to give me a B because I ate bugs, or I went. You know what I mean? Like,
Tipping the scales.
I was always looking for a little angle.
The one piece of advice that you can give to a 19-year-old starting in the trades.
The grass is gray everywhere. You got to make it green. Like that's my thing. Like, you know.
Buddy just put the biggest fucking bar ever, dude. That was so fucking hard. Put that on a fucking t-shirt, man. Holy shit.
I had a version of that told to me by one of my coaches when I transferred from Cal Poly to USC. You know, it was a hard decision. I remember sitting down with our pitching coach and my catching coach at Cal Poly, a guy named Jerry Weinstein, who's like one of the all-time greatest coaches. Like, he was a wizard, absolute wizard. I love this guy. And I sat down with him before I made my decision, and, you know, he's like, man, I don't know what to tell you, but the grass is gray everywhere, right? And I kind of walked out of there going like, shoot, like, I don't know where I want it. I don't know what's going to happen here. And maybe about 5 or 10 years ago, like, I started thinking about that line that he dropped on me, and I was like, man, that's it. And also, like, what's the action off of it, right? Like, and I was like, you got to make it green. Like, that's on you, right? Don't expect somebody else to make your grass green. Go get it done. So yeah, that's always been one of my key mantras. Like, the grass is gray everywhere. You got to make it green.
I love that.
I love that too, man. That's awesome.
Dude, that's fucking. I've never heard that before. Might have been the bar of the year. Fucking hell. That's gonna be our soundbite for the rest of the time now. Just fucking.
Okay.
Put in the intro. The grass is gray everywhere. Just make it green. Okay. If you could have lunch with, I guess, if you could have lunch with any leader, dead or alive, who's at the table?
I know. You know what? I honestly, yeah, it's pretty. I mean, like, I can take creative liberties with this thing. So
You sure can.
I think I'd love to grab a bite with like Yogi Berra. I'd love to grab a bite with Tommy Lasorda. Like, all these legendary baseball coaches. Like, I could only imagine what it would be like to sit down with them, right? One of the guys, his name's on the scoreboard on the stadium, no less, at USC. His name's Rod Dato, winningest college baseball coach ever. I was good friends with his grandson Adam, and Rod was running the show in the 60s, 70s at SC while Tommy Lasorda was making it rain for the Dodgers. Rod and Tommy were best friends. And so they'd walk into these old, like, you know, those dark, dingy steakhouses with the red booths and stuff like that. And like, they just take over. I would love to sit and just like hear stories from those guys, but then also learn, like, you know, like what's like all these little things about, you know, leadership, all those little nuggets of knowledge. I think that'd be one table I'd want to be at with Yogi Berra and, like, you know, other legendary baseball coaches. Hell, I'd like to sit down with my grandfathers, right?
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, they're, you know, one was World War II vet, worked in aerospace at Boeing. The other, you know, moved his family out from Minnesota. He was one of 12 and my grandma was one of 12, and they both left Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska roots to buy a 50-acre almond farm in the Central Valley in California and just have a go at it. And, like, I still remember, you know, some of my favorite summers were, you know, spending weeks up at the family farm. Like, it was a true family operation. Like, I was up there, like, as a, you know, from the time I was 6 to probably 11. We'd have summers up there. The whole family would come together for harvest. And you know, Grandpa Bud, he was a, you know, the strong silent type, but like to be able to, like, he passed away before I like had like any of those like coming of age moments. But I do remember the dude was, this is before you could call a tech and say, hey, my deer broke down. Like, what do I do? He was he had a shop underneath the house where he was fabricating parts, like, and doing all. I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Like, so yeah, grabbing a bite to eat with my grandfathers as well would be pretty cool.
Since you're big on the social media platforms, what's one trend that you think it needs to die immediately?
The 6'7", for sure.
6'7". Oh god. Go ahead.
I feel like it might be like it's either the most annoying trend of all time, or it could be like just this like low key comedic genius of Gen Z. Like I feel like maybe they're all in on it, and they're like, watch everybody's heads explode. Just watch. Just keep saying it. Just keep saying it, and the whole world is gonna explode with like, I don't get it. So I'm hoping it's that, because if it's
we're there already.
Yeah.
This happens we're there already. Like it happens at my job site. It happens at I've been seeing like I've been seeing college ball. Like, you know, they would, if they're at the free throw line, they're about to score 6 points, and then they score 6, 7, or like to score 67. They do this stupid ass bullshit, and then like at work, it's like, oh yeah, I need like 6 feet of pipe. Oh, 6 or 7? Like I'm like, just give me the fucking pipe. When I recently like heard about this, I'm like, what the fuck is 6, 7? And they're like, oh, it's from a song and everything like that. And then immediately my mind went into like, Alex, you might be, and you too, JJ, maybe. Fetty Wap. He used to say 1738 all the time. So they try to make a comparison to that, and I'm like, that's nowhere any remotely close.
It also
that.
The origin story is so like I've heard 5 different things. I've heard about like it's 6, 7 was it LaMelo or Lonzo Ball's height or something like that. Have you ever heard that? Like it started with one of the Ball brothers.
I heard it came from a song. It was like a soundbite in a song, and then it just kind of just blew out of proportion.
And see, and now with this is the self-fulfilling prophecy of like the people that started it are like, watch these 3 idiots try and figure it out. Like, and it'll be on a podcast and online, and it'll live forever, and we'll just have that soundbite of them trying to figure it out. Alex has been smart; he's been quiet.
Yeah, I don't think Alex. I don't
know much about it. So
yeah, see, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Hey, Alex, I dare you to go into work tomorrow, right? Be like, hey guys, is the temperature outside 67? And just do like that. I bet half those fuckers would know what the fuck this means.
You're like, Alex, get your shit. You're going home today.
Yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious. All right, last one, I promise. A conspiracy theory that makes the most sense to you. I'll tell you mine once you tell yours. Mine is 100% valid too.
Flat Earth.
Nope.
I don't dabble all that much in the conspiracy theory world.
You're missing out, man. It's so much fun.
I know. It's stories. I don't know. You tell me yours and give me.
All right, so I don't believe in the moon landing. 100%. That was staged.
What?
I do not believe.
That's a hot take.
I don't believe in the moon landing. I don't believe in that shit. Because I'm
Why
like,
don't you believe in it?
I just don't.
No supporting facts.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I literally keep on looking at the moon every day, and I'm like, how the fuck did they land on the moon and then just properly fucking came back to Earth? How they have enough fuel? And then, by the way, this is in the 60s, okay? When they had the computer engineering of a fucking hamster wheel, all right? This shit did not make sense. I believe, and then now Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? I don't believe in the moon landing. I think it was staged by Hollywood back in the 60s. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin are all actors. They're not real astronauts. I will fucking put my life on it, dude.
Oh, dude. That's a pretty serious take right there.
I'm crying.
Agree to disagree. Makes me like appreciate that. Like, I mean, there are crazy people in this world who can do stuff that, like, I mean, they're so freaking smart to be able to like make that happen. And by the way, like you said, like, you're using computers that are the size of a house, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I am fascinated by like that old school fraternal culture, like the Masons and stuff like that. Like God, I'd love, like, my God, if National Treasure's on, like, watch out.
You watch that shit?
Or
yeah.
the Knights Templar, the Dan Brown books that.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Inferno and all those.
That makes me wonder, you know, like, I want to, like, I love going deep on some of those like old societal things, like and trying to figure out like, is it real? Is it not? I mean, apparently like pretty much every one of our presidents for a certain period of time was a Mason. Like, I think that's fascinating.
I think I went off the deep end on that one, but it's all good.
Dude, I can't. I mean, like we're not ending the pod on that because like I came in. Yeah, you just blew up the spot with a crazy moon landing take, and I'm like, yeah, maybe the Freemasons or something.
Hang on. Let me see if I can try to find one more. I literally was thinking about it like the other night. I was thinking about it like at least for 2 hours. So I'm like. I'm looking at the moon, and I'm like, dude, there's no way the fucking moon is real. Like, not real whatsoever. It was all staged.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
See if I can end it here. Actually, I don't know how old you guys are.
I'm 30. Yeah. I did have. I had a Walkman
CD?
and everything like that. Yep.
Okay, cool. What was your first CD?
50 Cent. Give It Your Die Trying.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Alex, what do you got?
I had it was an Eminem track. I think it was from 8 Mile. I'm pretty sure it was his 8 Mile like soundtrack to that movie. That was like my first CD, which is kind of weird, but it was also kind of fire.
What about yours?
I had Weezer Blue Album.
Ooh, great album.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good album.
I do also remember getting, God, I cannot remember. See, I'd say it was like Crisscross, like.
Oh, yeah.
Not Yacht Rock, Christopher Cross. Crisscross will make you. Yeah, that. Yeah. But I'm not sure. I cannot remember if I had the tape or the CD. So I wanted to like play by the rules of the question with the CD.
Gotcha.
But I'm pretty sure it was Weezer Blue album.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm going to listen to that whole entire album now from start to finish tomorrow. Just the 50 Cent album blasting on the job site. If you had to pick one, be wildly successful or wildly fulfilled, which one would you pick and why?
Fulfilled all day.
Okay, and why?
Fulfillment's something that like you can control, right? Like I'm a big like this is all from my like sports days. Like control the controllables. Like how you personally feel, like that's on you at the end of the day, right? So if I get to fulfilled, like I own that. Success is kind of an outside metric, right? For me, at least, right? Like, so yeah, I think I'd rather be fulfilled. I'd rather like I'm not one of those guys that wants to live at the boundary where it's like, you got dreams on one side and hopes and despair and, fears on the other. Like, I kind of want to be in the middle. Like, I want to be content, right? Like, that's why I would say fulfilled.
That might have been a good one to end off on. My home moon landing really fuck up the vibe. JJ, we're gonna give you this moment right now to give any shout outs, plugs, anything you want to put on this podcast. The floor is yours, buddy. Go right ahead.
I mean, I appreciate you guys having me first and foremost. Secondly, like to close the labor gap, like we gotta close the connection gap. So if you're listening to this, like, and you haven't gone into a classroom or you haven't connected with a young person to have a conversation about like what a career looks like in the trades, like get off your butt and go do it. Also, if you're not posting online, if you're not posting on TikTok, or you're not posting on YouTube Shorts or YouTube, like just go take a crack at it. Like, it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be polished, but like there's a whole community of young people out there who are like just curious and they want to learn. So like get active. Like that's the big thing. Close the connection gap. And yeah, I'd say, if anybody's interested, you can take a look at what we're doing with Skills Jam at the Skills Jam on TikTok and YouTube. And if you want to get involved, like go hang out with SkillsUSA. Go get involved there. Go start working with, like, check out Tech Force. There's a bunch of great partners that we work with that could use mentorship or donations or volunteers. So go do your research. Go get involved in the community. That's where it's at.
Awesome. Alex, do you have anything to say? Last minute plugs, anything you want to add?
No, man, this is a great conversation, JJ. Thanks for coming on, buddy. This is so fun.
Can't wait to come back on and see you with a goatee, Tiago, or maybe the Jay Buhner, Alex. You got this.
The next episode will be an in-person one. I'll try my best. At least both of you are in California, so I would just have to meet up with one of you guys, and that's it. Maybe more Alex, but
over a pint, we'll do this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. JJ, thanks for coming on, man. We both really appreciate it. With that being said, this has been the Build to Rise podcast. I got to remember that I can't say too legit anymore. This is the Build to Rise podcast. I'm Tiago. That was Alex. This has been JJ. We'll see you guys next time.